Yeah, okay, blessings everybody, blessings. Just gonna try to sort things out here. Is it? If everything is okay, I'm good to go. Hey, just give your boy a moment. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, take some time in it. Checking if the audio's okay. Boom, bang. Man, seems like everything is lovely. All right, people. Welcome back to Art with C Mills. As you can see, we're gonna have another discussion for today. It means it's gonna be something. I set a poll up. I think it was yesterday or something, and I was like, all right, it's either we're gonna be talking about how to, make it in the animation industry, or what it really takes to be an animator. And then you had another discussion about what was it again? I think it was about being able to talk about over I think it's overpricing, overpricing on where I think animators are overworked and underpaid. That's what it was. Yeah, I totally forgot, guys. Bear in mind, like, it's a Sunday. I'm feeling this cool weather right now. You get me? It's like I'm very cool and relaxed, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I wanted to do this video for you guys because I think it's an important topic to have. So today I'm going to be talking about what it really takes to be an animator, and specifically not just any 2D or 3D, like in general. Like, what does it really take to join this profession? Because I've been in it for a little bit, probably like 5 years now, and I've learned a lot. And there are some things that nobody tells you when you're going in, right? So I am here, of course, to shed some light on that. You get me? And shed some light on some of my experiences I've had with animation. You get me? Because I've had a rough time, but it's been a great experience, and I'll be able to tell you guys some of the stuff I've been through and what I've learned. Right? So we're gonna be talking about that while going through, some work that I've done previously. I think it's good to see the visual. So we're gonna be going through the animation pipeline. We're gonna be talking about, from start to finish, how do you create an animated product? And I'm gonna be showing examples of each thing. So I'm gonna be showing you guys some animations of, rough work, some storyboarding, some scripts, stuff like that, so you can kind of see the structure, see what's really involved, and how much it really takes to create the full product. So you guys get to see the pre-production straight through to post and production. So we're going to be running through the pipeline today, okay guys? So while we do that, I'm going to also, we may have some time for you guys to see me work on a storyboard myself, right? Because I'm working on a project that you guys, I'm going to keep on a hush hush for now, you know what I'm saying? But it's something interesting, and it's going to be, animated in 2D traditional style. So for you guys to see the storyboard, you'll be able to learn and follow me on the journey as usual. You get me? Yeah, I should be excited for that. But essentially, yeah, we're going to be going through that today. I hope you guys learn a lot today. Hope you guys having a good Sunday. Everybody blessed. Like, what's going on? Like, it's in Jamaica right now. It's raining, so pretty chill and cool right now. So I decided to just stay and chill inside. You know what I'm saying, bro? Because I'm a homebody. But yeah, I hope you guys having a good time. Remember to like and subscribe as usual. Don't know, love the support. And I hope to inspire you guys and for you to learn from my past experiences, because that's how you learn. That's how we learn as creatives and as people. We gotta share the knowledge, you know what I'm saying? Because everything is a team effort, you get me? So I'm gonna be going down a journey with you guys, providing you with some knowledge, you get what I'm saying, and enjoy. All right, so we're gonna be switching towards the workbench as usual, you know what I'm saying? That's the one place we're gonna be showing you all the nitty-gritty stuff, the behind the scenes stuff for some projects I've worked on. So hope you guys enjoy, and yeah, we'll be switching over. Okay, testing everybody. Okay, we're here. Welcome. So today we're gonna be talking about the animation pipeline. Right? We're gonna be talking about what it really takes to be an animator, right? You know, that's an important question. You know what I'm saying? What does it really take? Like, what are the various roles that play within creating a animated product? Now, as you can see here on my, or is it right side? Yes, you can see some of the work, or some of the structure, the pipeline that I was speaking about. You know, this is the structure. Okay, so you can see various different aspects. Hold on, let me fix something real quick. Gotta make sure all the displays are fully, yeah, there you go. It was cut off a bit, you get what I'm saying? All right, so on my right you can see the structure. You can see the various layers that basically run down, you know, pass down from pre-production to production to post, all of that stuff. So we're gonna break it down one by one, and we're gonna be, you know, we're gonna keep it short and sweet. You get me? We're not gonna be staying too long on one topic. We wanna move fast. You get me? But I just want to show you guys the visuals on each structure and each layer. So first we have pre-production, right? As you can see up here, idea. So naturally you need an idea. You need an idea if you're starting something, anything, even if it's, for instance, like a music video, or it's a ad, or it's a animated show and pilot, anything. You get me? So having an idea is where everything branches off from. You're able to now put yourself in this story and say, okay, what am I trying to achieve with this whole visual? You get me? Like, what kind of feeling do I want to give the audience? That's what's important. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of that's gonna, you know, it's gonna start from the idea. All right, so essentially what I do is that when I'm starting a project, if it's for a client, for instance, and they have the idea, let's say they have the idea for this thing, usually I like to put, you know, give my 2 cents, right? I'll be like, okay, this sounds great. You know what we should do? We should add this, that, you know, we should, instead of having this character do that, have them be this, you know, that kind of stuff. And depending on if the client is picky or not, they will be like, yo, that's great, you should do that. And having creative freedom feels so good, because you're like, yo, I can really just create something that, you know, is straight out of the brain, you know, straight out of my creative thinking wavelength, you know what I mean? So the idea, very key. because with the idea, it helps you to ground your whole animation and be like, yo, what is it about? Like, what world is this in? Like, what is this person trying to do? You get me? All of those details are important so that you can understand where this animation is going. Because if you're not sure, you're gonna be dipping and weaving and being like, oh no, I want the character to be tall now, or I want them to be fat, or I want them to run this way instead of that way. You know, that kind of stuff will keep it complicated. So get the idea down first, right? So idea pretty simple, right? Then we have the script. Now, naturally, if your animation doesn't have any dialogue, then the script you'd skip this part, of course. But it's good to have a written, like a written idea of if you have any sound effects added, if you have any moments where you want sound to cue in, then it would be good to have that instead of a script, right? You'll be able to know, okay, cheery music needs to play at this point and stuff like that. But if you do have a script where the animation has dialogue, then you're going to need a very detailed script, right? And this is one thing that the client can provide, or you can provide for them at an additional cost if you like. And with this point, usually clients bring their own scripts, or they do it themselves, or they say, what do you need? And like, okay, I need this script to say so and so, and they'll be okay, I'll put it in that format. So it's good for you to know as the artist, like, oh, I need a script. If they're gonna do any audio or any dialogue, I need a written script, as well as the audio, the voice recordings, which you see on the right in red. So let's speak about that. So script, spoke about that. We spoke about how that is the written version of the dialogue, and you'd want to set it up in a way where it's like you can keep it simple. I usually keep it simple. I usually have in each scene, I'd say scene 1, and then you put the name of the character or description of the character, and then you put, as what they're saying and stuff like that. And then from there you get your voice recordings, and that's where you're really going to be looking at most of the detail. You're going to be listening to it, seeing how long it is, because a voice recording is going to decide how long the animation is, right? So if the voice recording is 12 seconds, then yeah, you got to animate that scene for 12 seconds. You get me? So it's good to know these things, and it's good to know the tone of the character, because you can't get the tone from the script, right? You can't tell, if this character is really angry or mad or whatever. You can display that in the script if you want, but it's easier to hear it through the voice recordings. So on the same side as voice recordings, we have track reading, right? And that's basically ensuring that the audios, frame by frame, match, or it sounds good, because you can have some aspects where it doesn't sound good. Get me? Like somebody out of breath, or like they stutter when they say something, stuff like that. So they gotta check each time to see if everything is Gucci. You know what I'm saying? So that's the audio side of things. Now on our further left here, as you can see, conceptual artwork. So this we would call concept art, right? Keep it simple. You know what I'm saying? Concept art. From there you'll have, okay, so I can actually show you guys some concept art I've done. So I was working on a project. I think it was 2020 when the pandemic just hit, right? I was working on an animation for a client who wanted a music video, right? And they wanted it to be like a very sci-fi kind of vibe, cyberpunk vibe. And I was like, yo, I rate that. I like the concept. I like the whole idea. He had everything written down. He was like fully detailed, like he didn't know exactly what he wanted, right? It looked like he was planning this thing for a while. You get me? So I had to create the pre-production, and it was basically for a music video, right? But it was a very interesting concept, so I said, yo, all right, let's do it. And he gave me the creative freedom to take as much time as I needed, and I truly appreciate that. Boy, Quick Savu, big up yourself. You don't know, I have to big him up, because he actually found me on YouTube. You get me? You found me on my channel, so I was like, yo, big up yourself. Like, I appreciate that. You always work with people who appreciate your work, right? So I'm gonna bring up some concept art here. So this was the jet that they're gonna, take off with, because they're basically some spies. You get me? And they're trying to break somebody out of prison, right? So they had this sick ass jet, right? So I was designing the jet and making sure that I have, the back of the jet, the sides, and the top view of the jet, as well as the color scheme, because you want to make sure that you know exactly what you're doing once you go into your animations. So it's good to have this concept art where you have your colors, you have your sketches, and mind you, I skipped out a couple stuff because you gotta save time, and at this point I was just doing all of this by myself. So I had a background designer, but I was doing all the pre-production and the animations and stuff. So this was the design of the jet, right? Now, as I say, you gotta design everything. You gotta make sure that you design the backgrounds, where they're gonna be, the look of the characters, all of that kind of stuff has to be drawn. Okay, so next up we have some of the character design work, right? So essentially this is one of the bodyguards, you get me? This is one of the bodyguards that follows the artist and protects him. So call her Daisy, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, you basically do a three, like a turnaround of the character. This helps you to understand how they look in every angle. So behind them, what's behind them on their back, if their belt, how their belt looks behind their back, all that kind of stuff, as well as how the character behaves, right? Like even her face, like how her face is made up and stuff like that. She's a very serious character. And the color scheme, of course, as well as some of the facial expressions. As I said, she's very stern, very angry kind of character. So you want to show those in your concept art because it allows you to understand the character, allows people to put personality when they're animating. So if you're working with a team, they can see this and say, okay, it's this kind of character, so they have to have this kind of mannerism, you get me? But essentially that is some of the concept art. I'm gonna show you guys some more real quick. Yeah, so I've got a couple stuff here, a couple other characters that I wanted to show you guys. Yeah, so this is the main character here. Alright, so he has this big ass AK that's kind of designed in a different way. It has like some metal thing at the end, and he has like a pistol, and he has a robotic arm, stuff like that. And as I say, make sure you draw the character in different angles. So this is a very cyberpunk vibe, as you can see. Man have him bulletproof vest and thing. You get me? I say ready to step into the place. And then you have like the gas canisters on the side, stuff like that. You know what I mean? You show the detail in the character, and you show like he's always smiling and stuff like that. So that's his kind of character. He's very smiley and just like, yo, you don't give a, you know what I mean? So yeah, so that's concept art, right? So essentially you're gonna have a lot of concept art when you're doing animation, and when you have a lot of characters, you gotta be wary of that because it's gonna take more time to design, right? It's gonna take a lot more time to design, so you gotta be wary of the amount of work the client is giving you, because they may be like, yo, I want like 10 characters, this is Smiley and this boy, whatever. I'm like, yo, it's gonna be an extra cost still, you get me? So clients need to understand that if they want a bag of characters with all kinds of concepts and very complex character design, you're gonna have to pay extra for that. Like essentially you're gonna have a general package where it includes a certain amount of characters, but depending on how you're pricing, you'd want to specify that, oh, if you're having over 10 characters in animation, you're gonna have to pay this amount more. stuff like that, you know, so clients can properly understand what are the limitations, because you know they can see all of this and be like, okay, so you can do all of this for that price. Like, yo, yes, but if you want to do this, if you want this amount of characters, you're gonna have to pay extra. And stuff like that is important to notify a client, so that you don't hit them off guard. Like, you don't want to tell this to them in the middle of the, you know, the middle of the project, like, oh, you know, I kind of charge extra for more characters. You know, they're gonna be upset. So make sure you communicate properly to your clients. All right, so this is one of the robots. This is one of the guards that's gonna be at the prison. Right. As you can see, it's kind of inspired by, I don't remember what I got inspired by with this. I think it was kind of Star Wars, you know, those clone robots. Yeah, I got inspiration from that. But you know, as you can see, I put them as blue. So I use different techniques to kind of show good versus evil, or like this team versus that team. So I have blue here on the robots to show that, you know, blue is Babylon, or like kind of like blue is the police force, and that's the law. And then you have red on him to show kind of like a rebel, or like somebody defying the rules kind of vibe. So those things helped, you know, your audience to understand who is who. So that's concept, right? Pretty simple enough. And then if you have background designs, now that's where you'd have your sketches of your background designs, right? You don't have to, I mean, you can put color. Like, you need color. You need to understand what's the color, is it cool colors you're going with, is it more of a warm tone? Yeah, you know, you need to know those things beforehand. So having the color for your backgrounds is in pre-production is good to have. But if you don't have any time, you can wing it. You know what I'm saying? You can wing it when you're doing the designs, while you animate, you can wing it. But I would say get everything done before you get to producing the animation, because you don't want to be having to think about the color scheme in the middle of that. You want to know that beforehand. All right, so that's concept. I'm gonna show you guys. So we're gonna go back to the table. Gonna go back to the basic workflow. So find this. Yeah. All right, so we said that's concept. Okay, so now we're going to storyboard. So storyboard, now you're gonna want to be able to have a proper layout. You want a proper layout of how each scene is going to go. What's the tone? What's the camera angles? You get me? Who are you focusing on? Which character are you focusing on? Them kind of thing. You get me? Like, that will set the whole, like, for me, storyboards really help to flesh out exactly what's gonna happen. You know, every key scene. That's kind of where you're gonna see, you know, okay, is this a strong scene? Is this a developing shot? You know, those kind of stuff. You get into the film aspect of it. And this is one of the most important parts, because it helps you to run it through in your head before you start putting pen to paper with the animations themselves, right? Helps you to understand what movement is going to go, what's going to happen, where the camera is going to move, all of that kind of stuff. So I'm going to show you guys an example of a storyboard, right? So boom, bam. So let me scroll to the top here real quick, you know what I'm saying? All right, so as you can see in this storyboard here, I have the scenes layered out. I used a program, I can't remember the name right now. Sorry about that, guys. But there is a template I may be able to share with you guys, so you can create more organized storyboards. So as you can see, I have scene 1, scene 2, I have all of them properly labeled, and I have the timestamps. I have how long each one should go for. And this kind of changed while in production, of course, because at this point you're kind of estimating, but you want the estimates to be as close as possible to the actual thing, and that takes experience. You get me? This was my first or my second big animation project, and I was using my iPad at this time. Like, it was just my iPad, right? So I was animating on this animation program called Rough Animator. It's on iPad right now. It's pretty good, but that shit used to crash and all that kind of stuff. So beer problems, beer problems. So other than that, I persevered. You know what I'm saying? But this essentially allows you to understand, as I said, how the scenes are going to go. What are the key points? What are the key scenes? And you can leave little notes here, kind of describe what's going on within the scene. And at this time, I didn't want to put major detail in that because, as I say, I was trying to move as fast as possible. So I only put the major points. But essentially, you'd want to put the camera movements, like what kind of camera movements do you want in your note area. And it needs to show, like, for instance, if you're going to have logos pop in, you say, okay, the logos are going to pop in here. And the camera is going to slow down here. It's going to pan back. That kind of stuff is very important. And if you have any sound effects, you need to drop in the sound effects here. You say, oh, a sound effect here is going to pop off at this time. And yeah, just give a basic rundown of what the animation is going to be doing and what the camera is going to be doing, as well as if you have any transitions. So if you have any transitions that you want to specify, you can say, okay, I'm going to have the animation, rush to the next scene with this blurry kind of transition. And that stuff is important for the people doing the post-production, right? So it started off, doors open, you get me? We're gonna have smoke popping off. I'm gonna show you guys the full product, you get me? Then you have the hologram here. So I planned the heist, you get me? Then I try plan to get them bridging out of prison, you know what I mean? So they're in the HQ right now, and I basically wanted a close-up of his glasses with the reflection, kind of make it look intense and be like kind of sick. Cause it was a sick music video. It's like a hip-hop kind of vibe. And then I would show the characters getting ready. See Daisy loading up her gun, and then you have the split screen of them readying up them weapons kind of thing. Fly out. So you can basically get an idea of where this animation is going, right? So things move from one thing to the next, girls on the pole kind of thing, you know what I mean? Twerking and stuff. Twerking in a jet, you know what I mean? And that's me there, like, yo, oh dang. And I put red markers to kind of show where the motion is going, where like the head is going to be bobbing, or this motion is happening right now, that kind of shit. And yeah, you can see, you basically get an idea of how the storyboard goes, right? So from start to finish, it shows you the major points. And bear in mind, as I said, sometimes in production things change, so certain scenes changed in terms of the look and stuff like that, and certain scenes were cut out, just because it didn't make sense to add, you know what I'm saying? So you do that within the production. You're like, I want to take the scene out because it's not necessary. You call those deleted scenes, you know what I'm saying? Deleted scenes. But yeah, that's a storyboard for you guys. So you basically get an idea of how much that takes. And you can see that's like, I think that's over like 30 scenes. So the storyboard helps you to understand, okay, how many backgrounds do I need to do, right? How many characters will there be, and how many scenes of a bag of movement is there going to be? So that's one of the major keys, you get me, with this whole thing. All right, so that's storyboard. We're moving down to layout. All right, so layout essentially is understanding the environment these characters are working in. So essentially, this would kind of be like your animatic, right? Where you take your storyboard stuff and then you take those pieces and put them into video form. So you see how long each scene is gonna really last and how it looks, you get me? And that's the layout helping you to understand how these scenes stack up upon each other, and if it really makes sense. Does it really add, does it have that impact that you're trying to get me? Because once you see it in video, it's a different feeling than looking on it on the storyboard. And depending on how detailed your storyboard is in terms of movement, you'll have a little bit of movement within the animatic, so you can kind of understand the type of movement going on in the scene, whether they're lifting something heavy. Should they struggle or should it be easy? You get me? Should the person quiver in fright before they run? That kind of stuff. You get me? See how it looks, how it adds to the scene. I can show you I can actually show you guys a rough animation. All right, show you guys the real behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? So this was for the music video. I'm not gonna have the music, so sorry about that, guys. Don't want to get copyright striked and all of that. But yeah, as you can see, you have the camera movement, rough animation, and you can see the numbers in terms of the animations, like what are the keyframes. And you see how long each scene is gonna last. So you see there's a little bit of animation in there, very rough, but I gets a sense of what's going on. And this guy is rocking out while the girls dance in the back. So you see, you can get a sense of like it's supposed to be intense right here. And here you have some close shots, some camera movement. Get a sense of the camera needs to zoom in. You get an idea of what the vibe. You know what I'm saying? And some of these scenes are blank here because they're repeated, but you get an idea. That's a placeholder, so you know how long it should take. As you can see the backgrounds. You can understand, this is nighttime. There's skydiving out of the jet. Bag of things, so you see them pitch like mosquito up on the wall. You get on me and say, fam, and I plant the bomb. And I'm gonna put some effects there, but get an idea of how the camera is gonna zoom in and zoom back out in this scene. Boom. Bag of gunshots start beat and them thing there, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you get this allows you to see, all right, this is how the animation is gonna go, right? Very rough. You slice up, dice up, you get what I'm saying? Yeah. And there you go. So you would send this, if you had dialogue, for instance, you would have the dialogue in this video here, and you'd be able to look at this and be, okay, do I need to change anything? Do I need to switch some scenes around? Do I need to change some of the camera angles and camera movements, stuff like that? So you keep watching this over and over again to kind of understand and decide, all right, this is good. Do we continue and add some cleanup, or do we rush things up a bit? So as you can see, based on the layers that we have here, we barely reach anywhere, reach animatic, reach like backgrounds and animation and assistant animation right now, and we still have a ways to go. So as you can see, It takes a lot of work, right? There are various layers. It's like an onion. You get me? So you keep peeling off the layers, realizing that all of these aspects are involved in creating this one video. And of course, if you're doing videography, right, it'd be the same process in certain areas, right? Because essentially you still need a script and you still need a storyboard for film. But when you're doing animation, as I said, it's the same thing, but it's good to understand that it's the same thing as film, because a lot of people don't understand that. So you have to let them understand and show them that, you know, these are the layers that help to create a great product at the end. So we're moving off from layout and background to rough animation and in-betweens, right? What you saw there, like I would sometimes skip out the whole animatic and go straight to rough. That's just me because of time, but that's why I try my best to have my pre-production very squeaky clean and fully figured out, so that when you reach rough animation, you're not making any changes. Like, you know that this is what you're going with, and that helps you to save time. So essentially, animation assistant animation and rough in-betweens would be the person who deals with the in-betweens within those keyframes, and the assistant would basically be looking to ensure that everything is Gucci, like this movement is right, this movement, this keyframe isn't going on for too long, stuff like that, to make sure that the motion looks right. You know how much time I spend looking at an animation over and over again? Like, I look at that thing and say, all right, does this feel right? You know what I'm saying? Does this feel believable? Because that's why you have to ask yourself, like, does it feel believable? Because if you don't feel like it's believable, I gotta bother you. You know what I mean? You have to make sure, say, oh, if them shoot the gun, it have to flick a certain way. You know what I'm saying? For it to feel heavy or light. And that's where observation comes in. You know what I'm saying? You gotta make sure that you look up videos. You gotta make sure you look in the mirror and try to act it out. You get me? Trust me. If I do them thing there, a lot of studios, they will legit video their actors acting out a scene and then use that as reference. So that allows them to get an idea of the scene without using their imagination. And that makes sense. You're able to see emotion, you're able to see how it really looks and how it should look. And once you have that kind of, those kind of resources, best for you to use them. So if you have a videographer, anybody who has a camera, you don't even have to have a good camera. You just need a camera. Take out your phone. If you have good actors, people who are doing the voiceovers, you can have them act it out, right? And that allows you to get the emotion, get what kind of movement should they be doing, how should they be interacting with each other in a more realistic way. And if you don't have that, just look up YouTube. Go on YouTube and look up some scenes from some movies and get inspired. Enough time I look on some movies and look on certain fight scene, I say, okay, I get the vibe that they're going with. I want to kind of mix that with another style, so like tweak it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's rough animation in betweens. Now, line testing, that would basically be looking at your animations, looking at and ensuring that things are properly done. You get me? You have to make sure so everything is how it should be. You get me? You don't want to be going into the animation and saying, oh, something wrong here, like this movement not right. So you need somebody to be able to check that and ensure that the movement is looking good. There's no distortion when it comes to the proportion of the character when you're moving. Everything is consistent, all of that. Then you have clean up breakdown, and the clean up in betweens. Now I can show you an example of that. All right, and as I said, this would be just like the rough animation, but you're gonna have it in a more clean format. The lines are gonna be cleaner. You'll see if there's any rough areas you need to patch out. them kind of thing there, you know what I'm saying? Was this it? Yes. Okay. Oops. Yeah. So this is the cleanup, right? At this time, my background designer, and big up another one, you know what I mean? Great background designer. He did the backgrounds for this music video. So he had those finished already. So I was like, yo, I'm gonna drop it in the cleanup, see how it looks. And yeah, this is the cleanup for this animation. Some of the backgrounds are white because we're gonna be adding in some effects later down, but you get an idea of the mood and the tone, right? And some of the in-betweens are already added, so the motion is different. The motion is a bit smoother than the rough animation. Bit clean, you know what I mean? Clean. With their jiggling thing. Anyways, yeah. So as I say, you know, some of the white areas are duplicate screens, so you're gonna have the same animation repeating there. But yeah, you get the idea, right? You get an idea of, all right, the style, if the lines are clean enough for you, if you want to go in and, you know, do some cleanup, them kind of thing. And you have to make sure you close them gaps. Yeah, you know, if you have gaps within your animations, for example, let's say the lines don't connect with each other. If you're using a bucket tool, you can't fill out the colors. So you gotta make sure your lines are connected, else you're gonna have a bag of problems, you get me? But yeah, that's the cleanup. So that in itself is gonna help you to see, you know, do you like this line work, and if any frames need to be taken out, if anything, right? And that would be like, you know, you'll be moving to the animation check, where you make sure that everything lines up with each other. Like, let's say you have special effects that you need to add, where it's like, okay, you have some fire effects or you have some magic effects. You want to make sure those things line up with the animation, you get me? Make sure that it is all connected and, you know, it makes sense. Because if you don't have that and you go try to go to pre-compositing, and gonna be like, yo, this animation is off, the special effects poured late, you know what I mean? You never pre the frame to frame, you know what I'm saying? So you have to do that animation check, people, you know what I'm saying? So you see how much work that is. There's a lot of work that goes into animation, and usually it would take, each layer would have a person for each role, right? So you'd have each person doing you'd have two or probably one person doing a storyboard. You have another team doing the script, you have another team doing the pre-production, another person doing the background. So imagine one person doing all of this, you get me? It's a lot of work, fam. It's a lot of work, fam. So to ensure that you let the clients know this pipeline here, so they can help them to understand what the process is, because all of these are check marks. All of these are like, yo, okay, we'll reach here, reach the script, or here, reach the storyboard. So you need to know the pipeline and understand the process, so they can easily explain it to your client. So naturally, paint check, of course, digital ink and paint, you're gonna be checking the colors that you add to the character. Make sure that the colors are consistent within the animation, because sometimes you'll animate and you forget to, oh crap, I didn't color that section of them ears, or I never colored that section of them belt. And then when you play the animation, you see the error and say, damn, should I check that? So you need somebody checking that. You need somebody checking to see if there aren't any, you know, boo-boos, you know what I mean, any marks, any spots, any dots, you know, because you know when you're drawing, sometimes there's a dot somewhere of a certain color, like you accidentally mark somewhere on the friggin' paper. And when you go through the animation, you're like, what's that line that keeps popping up on frame 56? And you realize there's a little scratch that you left that you never realized. You need to check them thing that, you know what I'm saying? Check them thing to make sure so the animation them clean. Yeah man, truly Ghost Pants, yo, that's a funny ass name, yo. Big up yourself, you don't know. We're going through the animation pipeline here. And we're just talking about, you know, the cleanup and ensuring that you have your thing, you know, properly cleaned. You get me? You have to make sure the car clean and shiny. You know what I'm saying? Have to make sure. Otherwise, you're gonna be stressed out. Yeah, it takes a lot of work, you know. I was saying that all of these roles that you have here usually would be done by different people. So you'd have somebody doing a storyboard, you'd have another team doing the script. So doing this all by yourself, you know, it takes weeks and months to complete. So it's good as a creator, as an animator, to know this pipeline and communicate it to your client so that they know exactly what you will be providing. Because you could be, for instance, like, yo, all right, I can do from animation to editing, but you need to provide storyboard and script, right? Because sometimes clients provide concept art or provide storyboards and scripts, so you don't have to do that. Get me? Yeah man, rough in betweening. I like doing the animation aspects. Like the rough in betweens are the ones that makes the animation smooth, you know. And those help to flush out the full movement of the animation, help you to understand how this character is moving. Helps you to appreciate the actual movement. But yeah, animation take enough work, people. So pre-compositing. Basically, that will be your you'll be switching to another program at this point, right? You'll be switching over to either After Effects, stuff like that, where you're gonna be doing the video editing. So you'll be setting up the layers. So you'll be like, okay, character needs to be in the foreground, you know, the background needs to be on this layer, the effect, this effect or this filter needs to be on this layer, them kind of thing there, you know. That's where you'll be stacking up your different layers for how the whole scene is gonna look. If you're gonna put a film grain, you're gonna put, you know, a camera movement, those kind of stuff. You want to make sure that all your pieces are layered out properly, because naturally you'll have certain sections where you're gonna have your character layer and then you're gonna have like a car layer. Like if you have the car in the background, you're gonna need to have that on a separate layer, because that has its own timeline if it's gonna be moving or not. So in that area, you're gonna have everything laid out how it's supposed to be, right? You can make sure the character is supposed to be in front of this object, make sure it's in the right place, that kind of stuff. And then you go to the digital compositing, and that would be, you know, basically putting up all those effects together and rendering that out. When you render that, you make sure that everything is copacetic, you know, everything is set up properly, there are no hiccups. But trust me, there'll always be a hiccup, you'll always miss something, especially if you're doing all of this by yourself and you're trying to rush. You're gonna make mistakes, so make sure you do a test render to ensure that there's no mistakes. I remember one time I was working on an animation recently, and we rendered it out, like rendered the whole thing, and that was like 3 minutes. And then I look and say, yo, when the thing fully rendered, I'm like, yo, what is that? Why the background disappear for that one frame? That one frame, the background disappeared. You saw like a blink. Like, nah, dog, you gotta find out why is it doing that? Get me? And if I didn't sit down and look properly, I would have missed it. So it's good to have people checking animations and checking if there are any errors or if there are any mishaps. And make sure that you have a fresh mind when you look it over, because you've been animating for so long, you've seen this footage over and over and over. Your eyes them got tired, right? At that point, I advise you go drink a coffee, you go drink a, you know what I mean, a Red Bull, and charge up yourself again and look through it and be focused, because if you miss something, you're gonna vex. That's all I'm saying. And yeah, so when you move from there, you do the editing, make sure everything is in the right place. You add the music. If you have somebody doing a score, you'd add the music in the right spots, and you'd add your sound effects. You know, if somebody's stepping on grass, you add that there, and then you ship that out. You know what I'm saying? And I can actually show you guys the final, the coloring, the final product. Well, not final, but this is the when the color is added, right? The effects aren't added yet, the compositing isn't added yet. This is just a flat color. Movie time. Yeah, as you can see, you have all the camera movements, you get me? I put green screen at this point because I was just like, I'm gonna add the backgrounds in the green screen, some effects. And mind you, I was doing this on an iPad, so the thing was crashing, all of that kind of stuff. And yeah, using green screen for certain scenes, you know, it can work. Either that or you use like a PNG sequence. So if you want to add moving effects in the background, you can do that. Yeah, you know, you guys get the idea. Boom, bam, fly out. You don't know. Gunshot a beat. Yeah. And here is where you'd have the credits, where I have the credits and stuff. So I think I have the final version here. See if I can find it for you guys. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't have it. You guys gotta get that later. But you basically get the idea, you know what I mean? That's essentially the process for animation. A lot of work. You gotta make sure that you're prepared to do this kind of thing. Oh, I do actually have the final, so you guys are gonna be able to see that. I had this intro here. As you can see, some particle effects, logos, effects of the hologram, all of those stuff are, you know, pre-compositing. You can see the different colors as well, like in the background. Set the mood, you know what I mean? Set the lighting, all of that. And I added like a little warp hole effect in the background. Like a wavy kind of feeling. See the camera shaking to give it like, you know, the jet is moving fast. You get what I say? And it must zoom through the universe kind of vibe. See the little light effects. So, you know, those things help to add to the feeling. Bubble girl, what I mean? Yeah. Anyways, yeah, so them things they help to, you know, add effects and add a feeling to the whole scene. And here I repeated a scene, but I changed the camera movement. And, you know, added transitions, like a little glitchy transition. And move the camera inward to get the intensity. So yeah, you know, it was a very interesting project, I will say. I learned a lot. I learned a lot of stuff, and I learned a lot of things on how to actually work on a full production. So yeah, that's the pipeline, guys. You've gotten an idea of how this thing works. So today I'm gonna be going through a storyboard for you guys. I'm working on a project and I've reached the storyboard stage. So I will be going through with that, you guys. I'll be going through some of the scenes with you guys today and my structure. And we'll be using the examples, or using the same structure we have here to get this animation done. So I'm gonna be switching over, you feel me? I'm gonna be switching over to the other workbench where I'll be working on the storyboard. So just give me a second, guys. I'll be back. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, so let's get things started. All right, get things started. So this storyboard now is gonna be for it's gonna be for a trailer, and essentially I wanted to have a scene on like a country road. You get me? With some bamboo trees and not bamboo trees, coconut trees and them thing. And we would have these Bobo Shanti warriors, or these warriors running away from Babylonians, you get me? So let's zoom in here and get an idea of what we're working with here. So start off with the first scene. So as you can see, I have like a template here that I work with. Helps me to be organized and allows me to write some notes here. I can basically put how long the scene is gonna be here and stuff like that. So as you can see here, I've laid out the background and I've kind of put a grid here so that you can show the different layers. You can see the foreground and the background in the difference. And from scene to scene, you can see here I showed in detail the various movements. I haven't fully colored things out yet. Usually I'd use grayscale and just put like a dark gray for the characters so you can easily see them, so they're not see-through. And you show the movement of each character. You get an idea of how each scene will run. And for this one, I wanted to basically find this. There you go. Yeah, so essentially I wanted the camera to stay in one place for a little bit. Get some intense moments where like the camera is just still. It's just on that one spot in the road and you're just seeing the scene unfold basically. So you have this lady jumping out here, and then you have this next scene, and as you can see, another warrior enters and he's wounded. And what I tried to do is to get the last pose of the character and put it in the background so you can understand, all right, the character was here before and now they're here. And these are just some of the key poses in each scene. As you can see, like she kind of fumbles, so he's helping her up. So if you have dialogue, this is where you drop the dialogue. If you'd say, okay, these people are going to be saying this here. And then in the next scene, you can see that one of them gets shot. You know what I mean? One of them gets shot from the bushes. So that's a good indication of some of the key moments within the animation. So this is where I'm working from right now. While he gets shot, I want that to be a key moment. I want to make sure that I show where he's gonna fall as well. Adjust myself, sit upright, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so as you can see, this character here gets startled by the shot. But I want to change his pose. Change his pose because he was basically looking this way for this character running. So maybe I don't want him to turn around yet, but kind of be like, what up? You know what I mean? What up? And get started. I need his legs to be bent a bit. Get that sense of, when you get tense, when something happens that's unexpected, you get tense, your body tenses up. So I want that to be evident, right? So as you can see, he's kind of like, huh? And I'm gonna have like a little thing pop up like this to show that he's startled. And I want her running to be startled also. I want her to flinch at the sound of the gunshot. You get me? See why doing a storyboard is so important, because it helps you to understand the emotion you want to get from your characters. Want her to be running for her life, you know what I mean? Like, you know, when she says, Lord Jesus, but very quiet, you know what I'm saying? Lord Jesus, and run gone. Yeah, grab onto her little basket. Probably have her this probably reach here. Don't reach so far yet. So it's good to kind of look from scene to scene. I'd be like, okay, look on the left here. Does it make sense? If it does, you proceed. And you know, you make it rough. You get me? You don't have to be all detailed and shit like that. You just want enough. Just want enough to get the sense of how these characters are gonna be behaving. I need to decide. Don't know if I like that pose. I'm thinking could work. Yeah, makes sense. And have her hand. Maybe she needs to be flinching a bit more. You know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking she can probably hold the basket in front of her. Yeah, that looks a lot better. But that give an idea, like, yo, she's trying to protect this package. She can't just have it. She's trying to protect it from where the gunshot is coming from, right? So she puts it in front of her. But you know, things like that, you know, it have to make sense. Like the characters, what they're doing has to make sense. Don't overlook that. Get me? You want the animations to be believable, right? So I walk barefoot. Her legs are a little bit too long. A little bit too long. Yeah, so yeah, you get an idea of how the scene is gonna run. Yeah, run for daylight, you see me? I said she said, yo, I'm out. Go on. You see me? Now I stay here. So I said, go on. I said, go on, run. Right? You wanna make sure it lines up, right? So this character would be behind these characters here. Gotta make sure the placement is right. I carry her up. No, that's fine. That should work. Yeah, man. So you see, boom, bam, just like that. And that's that scene. So him get Walang Peng, right? So him get shot from the bushes. Now for the next scene, gonna wanna copy this background. Add it back to this one. Well, no, I think. Okay. Boom. So I just copy this. Why didn't work a while ago? Okay, there you go. There you go. So I'll just place this background back here because this scene, you know, it's not gonna change angles just yet. I want it to be focused on here for a little bit. So then now I need to decide what's gonna happen next, right? So of course the body's gonna be on the ground. You know, we got bodies on the ground. You know what I'm saying? I want that steam to be, you know, coming off of the body, so it's like a hot shot, you know, hot. Just get walang ping, you know what I mean? And from here I want to show the enemy popping up, right? And I want one to be rushing in. I'm gonna try rushing. Give him a healthy thump. It looks like gibberish now, but don't worry. It'll make sense soon. I want this character that was standing here to kind of swinging this way. He's swinging around. Gonna slice this way. Now I'm thinking I should probably have his head raising up. Yeah, there you go. Kind of rage. See that he's rushing him with rage. Something like that, you know. Probably should make the character a bit smaller. And this is where I would kind of like go back and be like, okay, proportions don't look right. Okay. Proportions don't look right. So we're gonna copy and paste. Copy and paste, you know what I'm saying? And we're gonna add them back into the frame. So as you can see, I've made the character too big, you get me? So we're gonna have to decrease the size. Boom bam. There you go. Right, so he's rushing him. Now I'm thinking, better yet, I want him to be swinging with both, or more like charging it up. I want him to be charging up the swoop. What's up, Vaxiana? I hope I pronounced that right. Big up yourself, you don't know. Welcome to the stream. I'm doing a storyboard today. I'm showing you guys my process. And you can see the breakdown. So right here I'm gonna have this guy probably bring his hand back. Yeah, that looks good, man. That looks good. All right. Gonna need to make the character smaller. Man, this really helps with proportion. Trust me. Boom, bang. I hope you guys are good. I hope you guys are having a good Sunday, isn't it? You guys are inspired. Whatever you're working on, just make sure you keep at it. Always have content to inspire you. If you're on social media, just make sure you follow stuff that inspires you, you know. Alright, so not fully sure about this pose. I got a better idea. Now, since he's turned this way, I'm gonna have him show his back to the camera. Have him swing that way. Yeah, that makes more sense. Instead of coming all the way around. So you see, you have to make sure the thing makes sense, people. What I'm gonna have him do swing over the head like this, right? So it's gonna go like, gosh, fully slice this dude over here, right? And I want to make sure I show that motion. So boom. Remember to like and subscribe, guys. Share the video. You don't know, support will be appreciated. You get me? Now the hand look a bit too long. You have to go so boom bang. Yeah, there you go. Move him up a bit. Yeah, I have to be in full focus mode right now, guys. Like when you're doing concept stuff, you have to really get yourself in the scene. Yes. I like this pose. I like this pose. Okay, so guy up here now needs to be swooping in like so. So he's gonna be back facing as well. and he's gonna have gun in his hand. He was the one that bust a shot there, you see me? You know, say him can't survive. Alright, so boom bam, he's gonna be flying in, swooping in like a Superman punch kind of a. I'm thinking, make sure I have forward. I have this one. Have this one forward, and then he's gonna be flying in. Need to increase the size for this character a bit. Don't look too bad, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna swat him down like a fly. But not. Swat them like one fly. Yeah man, boom bam. Good to go. And I need to put this body here. Body kind of steaming up. This character here already gone. This point. Machete would have probably go over here, so you know we need to check, right? You have to remember that the machete that you dropped would have been like right here. Or I would say right here. Okay, he got shot near to the gate. Yeah. All of those things you have to keep into consideration. All the various aspects. Because his sword now gonna just disappear. You know what I'm saying? Now for this now, character not fully flat on the surface. Create a little box. Create boxes. Then gonna decrease the size a bit. Yeah. Okay. I think that should be good. Matter of fact, this needs to move up a bit more. I need to decrease the size as well, just a bit. Yeah. Not too bad, innit? Not too bad. Matter of fact, I want him to be over a bit more. I want it to send him flying. Know what I'm saying? Need to send him flying like over here, so yeah, boom. Yeah. Perfect. You might go zoom in. And I'm thinking, while that is happening, there's one that swoops up this side. He's surveying the area. That makes sense, right? Now here, I'll basically draw the red lines. Motherfucker, I gotta go back here and do that for this, because I want to show direction, right? Where movement is going to be. Do that for this scene up here as well. Guy will be sliding. Then you would stop here. So I kind of use this as me saying stop. Let's see the line here. Oh damn, it's raining right now. Perfect. Okay. Now go back to this last scene here. Then we're gonna add them red lines. We're gonna be showing, as I said, where the movement is gonna be. Show how the character is gonna twist, right? He's gonna twist that way. Matter of fact, he's gonna go down and up like that. Yeah, so it's like a uppercut kind of a. Oh, matter of fact, no, it needs to be swinging this way. So need to show that the swing is gonna be like that. I'm gonna get a healthy slice, man. Yeah, you know, that's decent. I think, yeah, that's good. And that, yeah, and that will be that. So yeah, you guys get a general idea of how a storyboard would go. And of course, you know, after I would add how long the scene would be, some details on sound, like if a sound chips on here, if dialogue needs to go there, you know, you get the idea. So I'm gonna switch back to the lab and we'll conclude. Okay, people, so today we went through the pipeline, how structured animated studio would look like as it relates to having all the pre-production aspects and post, and having you know, having those roles there to kind of understand how much it really takes to do animation. So we went through the pipeline, went through scripts, went through storyboards, all of that stuff. So I hope you guys learned a lot today. You get me? Went through a lot. Just as I say, as a creative, if you're in any profession, you need to know what the roles are, like where do you fit within those roles, like where in that pipeline do you see yourself staying, because you're gonna want to narrow down your skills eventually. You're gonna find out, oh, okay, I like storyboarding more than I do, you know, concept art. So looking at that pipeline helps you to understand, okay, I can cut out these areas, or I want to focus on here rather than trying to do everything, and then help to source, you know, the other aspects of the pipeline. You may find somebody who's great at background designs and you can rope them into the project. So that's just, you know, my way of providing you guys some knowledge, see how the thing actually run, and see what animation really takes. So I'm gonna be ending it tonight, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you learned. Remember to like, subscribe, share the video, all of that good stuff, you see me. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Later, guys.